Hello and welcome to a new demo of TypeRoof shell in this example. For this demo, I'm as always going to start at our documentation landing page, fontbureau.github.io/typeroof/docs, which is in this case still empty. I'm going to show you what we are going to do. We're going to create a small animation that is very similar to this example. I'm going to copy the hello goodbye JSON txt file, and which it's already opened in this case. Open the TypeRoof shell in a new tab and paste that into the serialized data text field and deserialize it. And press play. So this is roughly the animation that we are going to recreate. So for this case, I reload the shell and end up in the default layout video-proof array version 2, but we want to go to stage and actors. In here, there's a stage manager and a properties properties drop down. We are going to need both of these extensively, the properties even more. The example is based on, we have different actors that we can instantiate on a stage and then animate via key moments in the properties window. But for this example, we only need the line of text. And to make an instance of that, I drop it into the stage. And then I select it so that I can change its properties in the property window. There is not much I can do in this state, but I can add a key moment and then a lot of properties show up that can be set. And because we're going to create an animation, the idea is to have different key moments which have different values for some of the properties, and the transition between two key moments will change the properties, in some cases gradually, if they can be interpolated, like if it's a number or complex numbers like colors can also be animated. But we don't animate, for example, this text content field, which I'm going to set next. So there's each property has a set explicitly button. We need to use them before we can set properties to any value. And here I want to enter the hello with a comma text. I also want to set the font size to this. I'm going just with 66, which is the default. I'm going to set an optical size, which is bigger than, I could also set 66 directly, but I want to have a bigger optical size to have a more display like effect. So I'm using the optical size of 100. And I want to center the text, which is, there's text align box, but it won't work like that directly. This is because currently the actors are based on HTML elements, and this is basically a span, like a span element, and without a width it won't center. So I'm giving this a width of 720, which happens to be the same width as the stage has. Now I can change the text align to center, and we have a center text. I'm also going to move the text more to the vertical center, which I can use the Y axis for to 2000 is too much. 200 is very good. So now we have a centered line of text that says hello, and there's a time control. We can press play to this, and we see it's not animating at all. We have the properties of the line of text, and we see one red dot here. This is actually this key moment, and I can give this key moment also a label. I call it start, and collapse it, because I want to add another key moment. Next key moment I'm going to add is going to animate the weight axis of this line of text, and it's going to make it extra bold. I'm going to write it just here, so I mean it's probably even extra black, because it's the heaviest width that we have. It's going to be the heaviest width that we have. You see the default is the 400. When I set this explicitly, it's still the 400, but I can now drag the slider to make it very heavy. Could also use one here, and of these I provided sliders, and we see extra black creates the same setting. It didn't change in this case. Bold would change it to 700. Extra black changes it to 1000. In the weight axis. Now, does this animate? No, it does not. The reason is, and this is important to understand, that we only changed one position in the timeline. The first key moment does not set this value at all, so it's ignored. And the second key moment sets the value to an explicit value, the 1000. Now it's 1000 in all of the timeline. We want the hello to become very bold from very light. So I go now to the start key moment, and must set another weight value here, and I animate this to, I move this to the very lightest value. So now when I press play, we have our first little animation. Then I can show you this button, which plays the animation in a loop. And you see that always jumps back to the light beginning after it's animated to the heaviest value. There is a setting that we are not going to use in this example, but I'm going to show it right now anyway. The is end-to-end button. So now you see here are two red dots, which are the two key moments that we have selected, the start and the extra black one. Just to show you, it's very small, but you see if I unselect the start key moment, here one of the buttons gets black. This is not good user interface design, but you can even use these circles, these micro circles, if you can navigate to it and select them. Now that worked. So I can't control time via the small circle. I only can control via the master time control. But you see that the time control in the bottom does synchronously the same as the master, which is not always the case, but I'm not going to show that in this demonstration. If I press the end-to-end button, we see that the one dot moved to the center at the bottom of the circle. And now when I press play, we see a more pulsating movement from big to light, back to black. Not the jumping when the time was over, but at the center we are at full black, and at the beginning we are at full light again. So basically what this button does is it uses this relative duration, which is set by default, of the first key moment and applies it to the end, so that we have from the last key moment to the first key moment a transition. If the time of the first key moment would be 0 again, you see it looks exactly like in the beginning, and it also behaves like in the beginning. So this is just a quick dial to make a animation that goes back to the beginning without a jump. We don't want to have a jump, and this value is in this setting meaningless, basically. So we can also keep it at 1, because that would be the default if we didn't change it. But it doesn't really matter in this case. Now we want to, when the text is at its boldest, we want to change it to another text. We can also animate the text. And I'm going to add a new key moment. The add button always appends them to the end. So our new key moment is that one up here, and that's the extra black one. So down. So this is the key moment 3. I'm going to call this goodbye. With a dot, maybe. So we have a full sentence, and this is also going to be the text content. I'm going to set this explicitly. Call it goodbye. Now, this will not change anything again, because the last key moment without that button doesn't have any time to show up at all. So we can use the button for this example. And you also see it's animating back to light. But I don't want to have this. Actually, what I want to have is at the boldest. Wait a second, switch to goodbye. This one. And then wait a moment. And go out. What I don't want to have is what I actually don't want to have is this getting lighter in this time. So I'm going to go to my last key moment, which I just added, the goodbye one, and make it explicit that I want to have it still heavy. I'm always setting the weight axis to very heavy again. So now it's getting bolder, then we have a short break, then we switch to goodbye. Because now we can have the hello appear, then we can read it, then we switch to goodbye. And that's it. I can change the overall time of the animation, because now all the key moments that we add must share the same time, and we don't change the time. So when I have 3 seconds and 3 key moments, I basically have like 1 key moment and 1 second of time. The same speed. So let's move this thing around. We are going to animate now the movement of the text. So in this phase, in this first phase, it's going to start outside, at this point. It's going to animate to the center until this point. So because I didn't change it yet, I have to set it explicitly anyways because I want to move it. But in start, it should be outside of the screen. And I know from the other example already that 500 is a nice value for this example. So it's on the right side. So outside here, 500 to the right. And then in this extra black moment, we want to have it arrive at 0. Now this, we can see it already. So it starts at 0, it comes in, and then it starts immediately to go back. So at this, the third key moment, goodbye, we don't want to have movement there, so we, oh, you can also see that values change while animating. So you can see the movement, like this is not actively controlled by this key moment, so it shows the value at the time we are just now. So when I set this explicitly, it will freeze at this value, but I want to have it at 0. Now it stays, that's good. And then we have the case that it moves back to the right, but I want to have it to move outside to the left. So I need a new key moment for this. I add a new key moment for this. Call it move out, move left out, move left out. And I'm going to set explicitly the X value. Now I'm going to use -500 because I also already know that this is a nice value. Now you see we have a key moment that wants to return anyways. In this last period to the beginning, to the position at the beginning. I don't want to have that. Also, I don't want to have it animated. So now I'm going to remove the setup of the loop. And this is already better. But I want to have the outgoing animation also contain a change of the weight. I'm not happy with the timing though. Anyways, move out. But first I'm going to change the weight in here. Set it to light. This is very nice already. Very similar. I'm going to add, nevertheless, a new key moment. And set the outside value again to -500. I want to have the pause longer. I want to see the goodbye. Stay a bit longer. So I'm going into this, and remove like the move left. I like this more, because we can read both of the texts and then have the effect. So this is not move left out, this is now pause. And this is move out. And when we now look at our setup here, compared with the example I gave in the beginning, it's already very similar. The structure of the key moments looks the same. Let's look at it in slow motion, like in manual. So now we have a pause. You wait a bit. Then we jump to the goodbye. The goodbye gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and then it moves out. What I want to have lastly here is an effect where we have this hello coming in, and it's already getting bigger at coming in. And then we switch to goodbye, and I like it that it's getting lighter, but I don't like it that it's getting all the way to the lightest weight before it starts moving. So at the at this key moment, the pause one, I don't want to get it too light. I want to get it maybe to the regular weight, which is 400. And at the move out key moment, I'm also setting the weight again and making it 0 here. So now you'll see it's coming in, getting heavier, heavier, heavier. Waiting a second, letting us read. Jumps over to goodbye, gets lighter, 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 and then suddenly, at a regular weight, starts moving, still gets lighter, 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 lighter. So that's the whole demo I wanted to give. I'm going to clean up a bit, show you the key moments that we have here: start, extra break, goodbye, pause, move out. Well, let's pause and to regular, move out, and I add to, maybe to light, extra light. I don't know what the name is. That's it. That's the demo. So to make it complete, I'm going to export it. Use the Save Load Share button in the application meta drop down. I press Serialize. I manually change the time to 0, and I might just decide that I want to have it playing when we load it. So I'm just going to copy it already. So this is the state I'm going to save to the demos. You'll find it there. But I'm going to show you in Serialize. Pressing deserialize, I will show you that the time jumps to 0 and that the saved state immediately starts playing. So that's it. This is what we are going to get when we reload this. When you go to our documentation page and state library demos, there will be a new one, a new hello goodbye one will be sitting close to this one, and it's also going to be linked in the user kit. down here at the Create a Simple Animation section. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this, and see you in the next lesson.